In a corner of the bustling city of Chicago, James and Sophia's life looks like a faded picture. They used to be the enviable couple of the city, strolling hand in hand along the shores of Lake Michigan, smiling and laughing, with only each other in their eyes. However, as time passes, the passion and romance seem to slip away without notice. James, a rising star in the business world, is busy with his daily work, always leaving the house with the morning sun and returning with the moon and stars. His heart is filled with love for his family, but more often than not, this love is buried in piles of papers and meetings. And Sophia, the once vibrant woman who was full of life's expectations, now finds herself trapped in this marital enclosure. The home is still decorated in the same style as when they were newlyweds, but the small ornaments that once symbolized love are now covered in a thin layer of dust. Every day, Sophia spends long hours alone in this empty home. Gradually, she begins to feel that the distance between her and James, like the dust in this room, is getting thicker and harder to clear. At dinner time, Sophia was often the only one sitting alone at the dining table, facing the meals that had lost their warmth. And on the other end of the phone, there is always James's busy voice. "Honey, I'm still in a meeting. I may be late home again tonight." Sophia has heard too much of this kind of talk, and her heart has long since lost its ripples. Their marriage is like a cup of tea that has been left for too long. Although it still retains the aroma of tea, the taste has become bitter. Sophia begins to wonder if the love between her and James has also become bland with the passage of time. At night, when Sophia lies alone in her spacious bed, she recalls the sweetness of their new marriage. Those warm embraces, deep kisses, and endless lingering with each other were like yesterday. However, when she reaches out to touch the spot beside her, she can only feel a coldness. This humdrum life is suffocating Sophia. She began to long for something new to stimulate her numb nerves. And this longing quietly takes root in her heart, waiting for the moment to break through the ground. James and Sophia's married life is slowly developing cracks in their lives. These cracks are subtle but deep, like an invisible chasm between them, pushing them farther and farther apart. The cozy cottage, once full of laughter, is now silent and lonely. One afternoon, Sophia decides to go to a nearby supermarket to purchase some daily necessities. The supermarket was crowded with people, but her eyes were inadvertently drawn to a man. That man is Noah, who has deep eyes and a gentle smile, and is concentrating on picking out fruits. Sophia found herself walking towards him unconsciously, as if a mysterious force was pulling her. As she approached, Noah looked up and their eyes met. At that moment, Sophia felt a long-lost heartbeat. "Need a hand?" Noah asked with a smile. "Oh no, I was just looking around." Sophia responded a little flustered, suddenly realizing she was out of line. But Noah didn't seem to care about her embarrassment and instead initiated a conversation with her. They talked about all sorts of trivial topics, from supermarket promotions to the recent weather changes, and Sophia found herself enjoying her conversation with Noah to the point where she began to look forward to more of what he had to say. As time passes, Sophia and Noah talk more and more frequently. Every time they bump into each other at the supermarket, they stop to chat, and Sophia begins to notice every detail about Noah. His soft tone of voice, the depth of his eyes, and the smile that is always on his face. She finds herself looking forward to Noah's encounters more and more, and even begins to fantasize about spending more time with him. However, this heartbreak also puts Sophia in a deep struggle. She knows she is a married woman with a loving husband and an adorable daughter. However, she cannot control her feelings for Noah. This tangle makes Sophia feel miserable, and she begins to wonder if she has betrayed her family and marriage. Every late night, Sophia lies in bed and reflects on her behavior. She knows that her feelings for Noah are immoral, but she can't let go of this sudden heartbreak. This internal struggle causes Sophia to become more and more silent and depressed, and she begins to avoid deeper communication with James for fear that her secret will be revealed. Sophia realizes that she is at an emotional crossroads and must make a choice. Will she continue to sink into this incestuous relationship, or will she return to her family and cherish the happiness she already has? But the choice is a difficult one for her. Recently, James notices that Sophia's behavior is somewhat erratic. She is often absent-minded, and her concern for him seems perfunctory. What makes him feel even more uneasy is that Sophia has started to go out on her own more often, and every time she comes back, she seems to be a bit distracted. At first, James thought Sophia just needed some privacy and didn't interfere too much. But as time went on, his suspicions grew. He began to notice that Sophia's tone of voice was unusually gentle when she answered the phone, and even laughed mysteriously at times. These details make James can't help but begin to wonder if Sophia is having an affair. To confirm his suspicions, James decides to take action. He begins to watch Sophia's every move closely and even quietly follows her when she goes out. He discovers that Sophia often goes to a supermarket, and each time she has a long conversation with a strange man. That man is Noah, and his appearance turns James' suspicions into reality. James felt his heart twist as he couldn't believe his eyes. He began to recall all the changes in Sophia over the past few months, and the details that he had once ignored now became clear. He realizes that something has gone seriously wrong in their marriage. However, James did not question Sophia directly, fearing that his suspicions would hurt her feelings. He decides to investigate secretly and collect more evidence to confirm his suspicions. He starts to use his spare time to follow Sophia and Noah's whereabouts and even hires a private detective to investigate their relationship. In the process, James' heart is filled with torment and pain. He can't believe that his wife would betray him, but the evidence in front of him forces him to face reality. He begins to doubt his own judgment and even begins to wonder if there is any point in continuing their marriage. Under the double blow of doubt and mistrust, James begins to become silent and his attitude towards Sophia becomes cold. Their marriage is in an unprecedented crisis, and this crisis will become an important turning point in their married life. Ever since James began to suspect that Sophia was having an affair, he threw himself into an in-depth investigation. Instead of simply stalking Sophia, he began gathering evidence through various channels. He looks at the family's phone records, Sophia's social media activity, and even uses his business connections to probe Sophia's relationship with Noah. Unaware of this, Sophia continues to indulge in her affair with Noah while trying to maintain her daily life with James. However, when she realizes that James is becoming colder and colder and even avoids intimate contact with her, Sophia is confused but does not make any connection to her relationship with Noah. One night, James finds a flirty text message from Noah on Sophia's cell phone. His heart sinks as the text message seems to confirm his suspicions. However, instead of questioning Sophia immediately, he decides to continue to dig deeper for more conclusive evidence. Meanwhile, Sophia begins to notice something unusual about James. She notices that he is always distracted at home, and his attitude towards her becomes cold. She begins to wonder if James knows about her relationship with Noah, but doesn't dare to ask him directly. This suspicion and uneasiness make Sophia feel increasingly anxious. Finally, one day, James decided to show his cards. He sits in his living room, grim-faced, waiting for Sophia's return. When Sophia walked in the door, she immediately sensed the tension in the house. She looked at James' serious face, and a sense of foreboding welled up in her heart. "Sophia," James' voice was low and strong. "We need to talk?" Sophia's heart was racing, and she knew this conversation wasn't going to be easy. She sat across from James and tried to avoid eye contact with him. "Are you hiding something from me?" James' voice revealed a hint of disappointment and anger. Sophia's body shuddered slightly, but she still tried to remain calm. "I don't know what you're talking about." She tried to hide her uneasiness. James took a deep breath and handed Sophia the cell phone in his hand. "So what's this text message about?" he asked, pointing to the ambiguous text from Noah. Sophia's face instantly turned pale. She knew that she could no longer hide it. However, at this moment, she did not choose to confess, but chose to remain silent. She didn't know how she should explain the relationship, nor did she know how to face James' disappointment and anger. James looked at Sophia's silence, and his anger increased. "I expect a reasonable explanation from you." His voice was filled with disappointment and determination. He knew that their marriage had come to a critical turning point. If Sophia couldn't give him a satisfactory answer, then their marriage might end there. However, Sophia still chooses to remain silent. She knows she has made an irreversible mistake, but she also knows she loves James and their family deeply. She doesn't want to lose it all, but she doesn't know how to get it back. This crisis of trust has brought the relationship to a standstill. The trust between them is on the line, and the future of this marriage has become bleak. Once trust is broken, it's like delicate china shattering to the ground, never to be restored. And that's exactly what happened to James and Sophia's marriage, with the rift between them becoming more and more apparent since Sophia confessed her relationship with Noah. The wound in James' heart is hard to heal. Whenever he sees Sophia, he remembers the ambiguous text messages, the secret meetings. He begins to doubt Sophia's every behavior, every word, and even when she cares for him. He feels that it is Sophia's way of atoning for her faults. Sophia also senses James' coldness and detachment. She knows that she has made a mistake, but she also hopes that James can give her a chance to change her ways. However, whenever she tries to communicate with James, she always encounters his cynicism and even groundless accusations. When Sophia came home late, James immediately asked her if she was seeing Noah again. Sophia explained that she was working late at the office, but James did not believe her, and their argument broke out again. In the middle of the argument, James mentioned divorce, which made Sophia completely devastated. "Do you trust me that little?" Sophia questioned tearfully. "How do you expect me to trust you?" James asked rhetorically, disappointment and anger in his eyes. As time passes, misunderstandings and conflicts between the two intensify, with Sophia feeling that she has become redundant in the family and James feeling that he can never go back to the happy times of the past. Their relationship seems to be on the verge of breaking up, and the crisis in this marriage has left both of them in deep distress. They begin to consider whether they can really move on and whether there is really a future to be had. Despite the fact that the marriage is on the rocks, social occasions still need to be maintained. On this night, James and Sophia are invited to a dinner dance, their first public appearance since their marital crisis. At the dinner party, the lights were on, people gathered in groups to talk, dance music flowed in the air. Sophia was wearing an elegant evening dress, which made her stand out. James, on the other hand, is very serious, and he is always watching Sophia's every move. Soon after, the dance begins, and Sophia accidentally realizes that Noah is there, and he approaches her and asks her to dance. Sophia hesitates, but thinking that she and Noah have already drawn a line in the sand and that dancing is just a social ritual, she accepts the invitation. On the dance floor, Sophia and Noah danced lightly to the music. They danced elegantly and attracted the attention of all the people present. However, this scene was so blinding in James' eyes. As he watched Sophia and Noah spinning on the dance floor, the anger in his heart gradually rose. After the music stopped, Sophia returned to James. She tries to explain, but James coldly interrupts her. "You don't need to explain anything to me. Your behavior says it all." Sophia froze, sensing James' coldness and determination. She knew that this incident had completely destroyed what was left of the trust between them. After the dinner, back at home, James can no longer bear the pain and the feeling of betrayal. He decides to leave the home that is full of betrayal and lies. In the silence of the late night, James begins to pack his bags. Sophia stood aside, silently watching him, tears in her eyes. She knew that at this moment, she had completely lost James. She wanted to open her mouth to stay, but her lips moved, but in the end, she did not speak. James carried his luggage and walked out of the house without looking back. In the night, his back looked so lonely and determined. Sophia stood in the same place. Her heart is full of endless remorse and pain. She knows that all this is her fault. It is her hand that destroyed her marriage and family. With James' departure from home, their marriage is officially broken. And this marital crisis has brought Sophia deep reflection and painful growth. She begins to realize her mistakes and responsibilities and decides to take the consequences of it all. However, is it too late? It was late at night and Sophia stood alone in the empty living room, her eyes wandering around the house and finally resting on the couch that was once James' favorite. Ever since James left home, the house had lost that familiar warmth and sense of security, replaced by endless silence and coldness. Sophia slowly walked over to the couch and sat down gently. She closed her eyes and her mind drifted back to the moments she had spent with James. All those laughs, all those cozy dinners, all those walks hand in hand were now only memories. Her heart began to ache, an ache unlike anything she had ever felt before. She began to reflect deeply on her past, those impulsive decisions, those neglect of her family, those flirtations with Noah. She suddenly realized how stupid and selfish she had been. Sophia began to think back to how good James had been to her, his forgiveness, his understanding, his giving. And she, on the other hand, had hurt him again and again until he couldn't take it anymore. She began to regret her faults, and she knew that she had deeply hurt James and their family. In this moment, Sophia is determined to change. She decides to save the marriage and James' heart. She knows it won't be easy, but she is willing to put in the effort because she loves James and their family deeply.
Sophia stood up, walked over to the phone, and dialed James' number. Although she knew James probably wouldn't answer her call right away, she decided to give it a try. The ringing of the phone echoed through the empty house, each sound like a tap on her heart. Finally, the phone was picked up. Sophia's voice was choked with sobs. "James, I know I was wrong. I really regret it. I am willing to make efforts for our marriage. Are you willing to give me a chance?" There was silence on the other end of the line for a moment. Then came James' voice. "Sophia, I need time to think about it." Sophia knows that this is an opportunity James has given her. Although the road ahead was difficult, she was willing to work hard to save her marriage. She begins to formulate a plan to win back James' trust and love, starting with changing herself. This night, Sophia lay in bed with hope and determination in her heart. She knew that this was the most important decision she had ever made for her marriage and family. And this self-reflection and repentance would be a major turning point in her life. Since that late-night phone call, Sophia has begun to really change. Instead of just immersing herself in her own world, she began to pay more attention to her family, especially her daughter's feelings. She wakes up early every morning to prepare breakfast for her daughter and send her to school, and in the evening she does homework with her and listens to her stories about school. At the same time, Sophia also actively participates in household chores and strives to create a cozy and harmonious family environment. Sophia knows that to truly win James back, it's not enough to do just that. She needed to show James her sincerity and determination. So she decides to go to James in person, apologize to him face to face, and promise that she will change for the sake of her family. After a lot of maneuvering, Sophia finally found James' temporary place of residence. She stood in front of the door, took a deep breath, and then gently knocked on the door. The door opened and James appeared in the doorway, his eyes revealing a hint of surprise. "Sophia, what brings you here?" James asked. "I came to apologize," Sophia said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I know I was wrong. I broke your heart and our family. But I'm truly sorry and I'm willing to change for the sake of our family." James looked at Sophia with a flash of mixed emotions in his eyes. He was silent for a moment, then let Sophia enter the house. The two sat down on the couch and Sophia continued, "I've thought a lot about this time. I realized my neglect of you and my irresponsibility to my family. I am willing to take on the responsibilities of a wife and face the challenges ahead with you." As James listens to Sophia, the defenses in his heart gradually crumble. He sees the sincerity and determination in Sophia's eyes and senses her desire and treasure for her family. He knows that giving Sophia a chance is also giving their family a chance. Eventually, James decides to forgive Sophia and agrees to go home. Together, they return to the home they once had, the place full of memories and coziness. Although there is still a long road ahead and many challenges, they are willing to work hand in hand for the sake of their family. This reconciliation not only revived their marriage, but also brought back the happiness and coziness their family once had. And Sophia knows that this change is not only to win back James' heart, but also to give herself a chance to start over. After much deliberation and hard work, Sophia and James finally decided to get back together, but that was only the beginning of the road to repairing their marriage. Rebuilding trust is far more complicated and difficult than they ever imagined. To rebuild trust, Sophia took the initiative. She began to share her life and thoughts with James on a daily basis. Whether it was daily chores or inner feelings, she told James without reservation. At the same time, she also encouraged James to share his thoughts and feelings, trying to create an open and honest communication environment. James also tried to understand and accept Sophia's changes. He begins to participate more in family life, doing housework with Sophia, taking care of her daughter, and sharing family responsibilities. In the process, he gradually feels Sophia's efforts for the family, and the defenses in his heart are slowly put down. However, the rebuilding of trust is not always easy. At times, Sophia feels frustrated by James' indifference and detachment, and James feels heartbroken and angry when Sophia mentions the past. But every conflict and misunderstanding becomes an opportunity for them to communicate and understand. They learn to listen, understand, and tolerate each other, and gradually find ways to solve problems in the midst of conflicts. Over time, the trust between Sophia and James is gradually repaired. They begin to enjoy each other's company again and face life's challenges together. Their marriage also gradually regained harmony and stability, and their daughter also felt the warmth and happiness of family in the process. After all the ups and downs, James and Sophia's marriage has finally entered a new stage of stability and harmony. The rebuilding of trust has made them cherish each other more and made them look forward to the future of their family. One evening, the two were chatting in the living room when Sophia suddenly came up with an idea. "James, do you think we should think about having another child?" James was slightly stunned at this, but quickly developed a thoughtful expression. He knew that this was a reflection of Sophia's trust and expectations for the future of their marriage and family. He pondered for a moment, then smiled and nodded. "I think that's a great idea. Our family could really use a new addition." Sophia was ecstatic to hear this, knowing that this decision not only symbolized a new chapter in their marriage, but also their shared vision of a happy future together. As time goes by, Sophia is pregnant with her second child. The arrival of this new baby has given their family even more hope and vitality, and James and Sophia are looking forward to the arrival of this new baby together as they begin to make preparations for the baby's arrival. Their relationship has grown even closer as James took care of Sophia during her pregnancy and postpartum period. The birth of their daughter filled their family with laughter and made them appreciate each other and their rejuvenated family even more. Sophia's marriage experience caused a lot of shock in her circle of friends, especially to her best friend Rachel, who has been a close friend of Sophia since childhood and shared many joys and sorrows in life. But Rachel's view on marriage is very different from Sophia's. Rachel has always believed that marriage is the grave of love, and she is afraid of losing herself after getting married, so she has always stayed single. Rachel has always believed that marriage is the grave of love, and she is afraid of losing herself after marriage, so she has always remained single. However, Sophia's experience makes her begin to reflect on her own perceptions. One day, Rachel comes to visit Sophia at her home, and the two of them sit in the garden, enjoying the afternoon sun and talking about marriage. "Sophia, do you really think marriage is wonderful?" Rachel asked, a hint of doubt and curiosity in her tone. Sophia smiled and replied, "Actually, marriage is not static. It is like a winding path, sometimes with bumps in the road, but also with beautiful scenery. What matters is whether you and your partner are willing to face these challenges together and grow together." Rachel listened and fell into deep thought. She thought of Sophia and James' marriage experience, of the conflicts they had had, their separation, and then their reconciliation and rebirth in the end. She suddenly realized that marriage was not a bondage, but a choice to ride out the storm with one person, a choice to work for a common goal. Sophia looked at Rachel's expression and knew that her words had touched her best friend's heart. She gently held Rachel's hand and said, "Rachel, everyone's choices are different. I just hope that my experience can bring you some insight so that you can find your own happiness." This conversation had a profound effect on Rachel. She began to rethink her views on marriage and tried to understand and accept the beauty and difficulty of marriage. Sophia, on the other hand, felt gratified and satisfied because she was able to share her experience with her best friend. She knows that no matter what lifestyle she chooses, the most important thing is to find her own happiness and fulfillment. Although Sophia and James have entered a new phase in their marriage, the shadow of the past has not completely dissipated, and Noah, Sophia's former fling, still pops up in her life from time to time. However, this time, Sophia is fully prepared and she decides to firmly reject any further approach from Noah. One day, Noah tries to contact Sophia again and invites her to meet him. Sophia receives the message, takes a deep breath, and then replies to him firmly. She tells him that she has completely let go of her past mistakes, and now she only has James and her family on her mind, and she hopes that Noah will respect her choice and leave her alone. Noah is disappointed to see Sophia's reply but realizes that Sophia has already made her decision and he can't change anything. So, he chooses to silently withdraw and stop bothering Sophia's life. And Sophia also told James about the situation to prove that she has completely cut her ties with the past and her loyalty only belongs to their family. When James heard the news, although his heart fluctuated a bit, he saw Sophia's firmness and determination and felt her treasure and loyalty to her family. He chooses to believe in Sophia and gives her more support and understanding. Sophia's firm refusal not only makes Noah give up his pursuit of her for good, but also shows James her loyalty and determination to her family. Their marriage is stronger as a result, and Sophia grows up a lot in the process, learning how to face her past mistakes and how to guard her family and happiness. After all the ups and downs and trials and tribulations, James and Sophia's marriage has finally solidified and their relationship is stronger and deeper than ever. To celebrate their anniversary, the two decide to host a romantic dinner. For the evening, Sophia wore an elegant red dress, while James changed into a dapper suit. They set up a beautiful dining table in their own courtyard with candles, flowers, and fine tableware. Under the soft moonlight, everything looked so romantic and beautiful. As dinner began, the two raised their glasses and reminisced about the past, with Sophia thanking James for his tolerance and support, and James expressing his deep love for Sophia. They laughed and enjoyed this rare time together. After dinner, James suggested dancing together. They embraced each other in the center of the courtyard, swaying gently to the rhythm of the music. Under the moonlight, their dancing was so graceful that it was as if time had stood still for a moment. This romantic celebration improved their relationship further. They cherished each other more and became more determined to be together. This wedding anniversary was not only a review of their past experiences, but also a promise and vision of a happy future. Since then, James and Sophia's married life has become more beautiful and harmonious. They face the challenges of life together and create their happy story together. And this wedding anniversary has become a beautiful memory in their hearts forever. After their anniversary celebrations, James and Sophia basked in the happiness, and the bond between them grew even stronger. One evening, they sat on the couch at home and began discussing the future of their family. "Sophia, what else do you think our family should have?" James asked, anticipation twinkling in his eyes. Sophia smiled and replied, "I think our family is already perfect, with you and me and our daughter. But if I really have to say what's missing, I think it's probably more children." James listened with a surprised expression. "Really? You think so too? I've always thought our family could be a little more lively." Sophia nodded. "Yeah, I think multiple kids would make our family more vibrant and joyful." The two smiled at each other and began to seriously discuss plans for expanding their family. They discussed how many children they wanted, their children's education, the family's financial situation, and so on. In the process, they not only planned the future of their family, but also improved their understanding and trust in each other. Eventually, they decided to have another child to add more hope and happiness to the family. This decision has made them look forward to their future life even more and cherish each other and this loving family even more. With the passage of time, Sophia became pregnant again, and the family welcomed a new life. The birth of the child has made their family more lively and happy, and has strengthened their belief that if they work together and support each other, they will be able to create a bright future. Time flies, and before you know it, it's their daughter Emily's birthday. To celebrate this special day, James and Sophia decided to organize a small birthday party at their home and invite friends and family to share the joy. On the day of the party, the house was decorated with warm and lively decorations, colorful balloons, colorful ribbons, and various kinds of snacks made the whole atmosphere full of joy. Emily was dressed in a little princess dress, with a happy smile on her face, accepting the blessings from her friends and relatives. Just as the party was in full swing, James and Sophia smiled at each other and decided to make that happy announcement they'd been keeping under wraps. They stepped forward and grabbed everyone's attention. "Dear friends," James spoke up, "today is not only our daughter Emily's birthday, but also a day of celebration for our family. For we are about to welcome a new family member." Sophia continued, "Yes, we are very happy to announce that our family is about to expand again. I am pregnant and we are about to have a new baby." As soon as the announcement was made, the room immediately erupted in applause and cheers, and Emily jumped up and down in excitement, anticipating that she would have a little brother or sister to grow up with. The party continued with joy and blessings while James and Sophia reveled in the joy of this impending new arrival. They knew that the arrival of this new member would bring more happiness and wholeness to their family. As the party came to an end, family and friends left, but the blessings and joy left behind echoed long into this cozy family. James, Sophia, and Emily tidied up the party scene together, looking forward to that new baby on the way and more joy and happiness in their family's future. This is a happy ending to this story of marriage, trust, family, and love. But James and Sophia know that new chapters will continue to be written in their lives, and each one will be filled with love and hope.